Well, good morning. Welcome back to our little firewood operation here out at Daylesford. And as you can see, it is a fresh, freezing cold morning, thick fog, and where we've just arrived, it's about 8 o'clock. So it looks like it's going to take a little while for the sun to get up and get rid of this fog. Right, let's have a quick look at what we've got to do today. All right, so we've just got Nathan unpacking. So the smaller trailer here, we're going to be loading that up with 3 cubic meters. I'll be delivering that to a couple of people this afternoon. And then the large trailer, that'll actually go on Nathan's car. And he'll be delivering 6 cubes. So 4 to one person and 2 to another. So he'll get 5 in here, 1 in the back of his ute, and he'll have 2 deliveries as well. So last time we were here, we managed to book a few spare rounds there. As you can see, that sat on the top of the pallet. All that stuff there, which is a lot of wood, that's all punky wood, pretty rubbish. Not the stuff that we're going to sell, so we're leaving that off to a side. And I've actually been taking that, and we've been burning it. So don't want to put it to waste, but it's certainly not stuff we can sell. But like I say, we're happy to burn it. I wouldn't pay for it, but I'm not paying for it, so it's okay. Right, so we will be getting all the equipment out. We'll try and make the excavator start. It's going back to as it was a few years ago now, where when it's really cold, it is struggling to start. It was like that last week, but we'll see how we go. Hopefully we can get it fired up this morning. Without it, we're struggling because it is working a treat, working its way through this wood pile. Right, and then when we have a look at what we've got set up here, so the wood pile used to be somewhere about here. So I think we're somewhere in the region of halfway through. When we look at what's still got to be done, there's still quite a bit, but yeah, we're certainly working our way through it. And what we expect is this next section is going to have a lot more of the bigger logs. The first section certainly was smaller. We've got, hopefully you can see that off in the distance, there's 2 piles of small thin timber. That's all been put off to a side. That'll be going as double split. What we've been doing is basically sitting the excavator here, grabbing the logs, sorting them out, moving the big stuff off to a side here, the smaller stuff down here, and then bit by bit we sort of transfer them out, grab a handful or a log grab full of the bigger stuff, take it around to the splitting station, hook it up in front of the splitter, and then then get to work on it. Right, we got a little fix on the Jenny there. One of Chris's old-time bodgy fixes, but it works, and that's all we're bothered about. So the other thing that we've done just recently is we brought a fan, run that from the generator. Reason being, we were working here, we're kind of quite protected by the trees, as you can see, and you don't get a lot of air movement. And what we're finding is we were getting a bit of headache sort of working in this area because of the fumes from the exhaust, just a lot of loitering. So that fan works a treat. And the other improvement we've made is, as you can see here, we've brought in the sawhorses and put a pallet on top, and we use this now as a big loading table. So whichever one of us is splitting can sort of continue splitting. The other person can be grabbing logs from here, get that table absolutely stacked up high, and then by the time the splitter has got through all of that, we've managed to sort of go and grab more logs, bring them back here and start booking. So that's been working pretty well, and we'll continue with that today. And the other thing we've done is we've bought a brand new sort of sealed tub. That one's going to get all the pots and pans in, and I'm going to bring home all of the food because can't you smell mouse, can't you? The issue we've been having in this tub where all our food is, little mouses have been in there. So, I had a bit of hassle there with the lid breaking. But yeah, and it absolutely stinks of mouse droppings and pee. So virtually all of that will be thrown out when we get it home. Some of the tins of food, obviously we'll save those because they'll still be fine, but all the rest of the food will all get thrown out. And then we've got some totally nice and solid new boxes where we'll put food back in. Right, we'll get that sorted, and then we'll get the excavator going. All right, while Nath is doing the sorting out of all the food stuff, I will try and get a little friendly excavator going. What do you reckon? You figure this out, only one key works. All right, fingers crossed. Contact. Contact. Oh, straight away. Hey, that's good, because last weekend it really struggled. It must have taken 10 minutes of sort of trying to start it, leaving it for a few minutes and trying again. Anyway, it's fired up now. Let's let it warm up, do a bit of a tidy up, and we'll get into some firewood. Have grease gun will travel. All right, before we get started, we'll do a little bit of greasing on the excavator. It's had a fair bit of use and not much greasing, so let's have a little crack at that. Right, give each one a few good squirts until we see the grease coming out. Not been done for a while this, so it may take a bit. I feel like there's a lot of grease coming out there, to be honest. There we go. We've got grease coming out the bottom. Geez, it's taking a lot of grease. It's been too long in between greasings. Right, I will get the rest of this done and bring you guys back in a minute. All right, let's get her going, get some revs built up. Hydraulics on, and yeah, let's get into this wood pile. We'll reverse out. Right, we'll do a little bit of a tidy up here now, just grabbing some of these smaller ones. Drop them off to a side. And when I say smaller ones, look, these would go great through the swing saw. But we're really focusing, at the moment, we're focusing on all the bigger stuff that'll have to go, be booked, and then split. We're focusing on that because we actually get much faster production that way. Once we've got through all the big stuff and we're actually setting ourselves up to work with the swing saw properly on let's say this mediocre stuff like this, we could this log, when I grab it, so that log there, if we cut that, bring up a close up, if we cut that to length, you wouldn't need to split that and you could sell it straight away. So once we get into processing some of these logs, it'll be pretty good and quick because we'll set ourselves up for it properly. And that means putting the swing saw in position and etc, etc. But until then, we'll just keep picking the big stuff, and because that's how we're set up right now for processing the bigger wood. Right, let's grab some, let's get some logs, get this finished, tidied up, and let's get the chainsaws out. Well, we've been going maybe 10 minutes. Nathan split 4 pieces into the trailer, and then Houston, we have a problem. Just so we're clear, that chain should not look like that. And it certainly shouldn't be hanging from the conveyor like it is. Hey, these are all the challenges that we keep having with this conveyor. When it works really good, could be much better because you have to feed each piece in, but it is such a fast operation with it. But it's old and pretty decrepit, and the chain's pretty stuffed, and it's designed for moving bales of hay, not pieces of firewood, and I think that's where we're sort of falling down. I've got plans and ideas of how to modify it, but that's going to have to be for another day. Right now I need to get this thing fixed, get it back up and running. So whilst I'm fixing it, Nathan is going to carry on splitting, and he's just reversing the trailer in so that he can split and throw straight into the back of the trailer. Old school, shall we say, but at least we're still making progress while I mess around here. What we've both said is it works so well when one person's splitting, one person's loading logs, and then standing here and feeding the conveyor. That works super well. Stops any problems, but when you're operating on your own, yeah, we just seem to get some big jams. Looks good to me. Right, let's get the tools out and get this thing fixed quickety quick. All right, first thing, we'll lower this thing down. So that I can reach the end, so they ain't that tall. And task number one is the actual pulley there on the end. We loosen that up and allow it to go all the way in to create some slack. All right, we just wind this all the way, do it on both sides, create some slack. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to make as much slack as I can this time, and I'm going to see about actually removing one of the links so that when I tighten it back up again, it actually tightens up more than it has been. So I don't think that helps, but there's still a fair bit of slack in there. Hey, it's one of those things, it's a fine line between having it slack and too tight. But last time, it was certainly slacker than I wanted it to be. So we'll try it tight this time and see how we go. As you can hear in the background, Nate's got the splitter back going, so production continues. We just had another text from a guy who we were delivering to tomorrow, who we were trying to book in to today, and he's just been. Yesterday he said, "No, I can't do Saturday," and he's just got back in touch and said, "Actually, I can." So we are going to see what we can do to help him out. When I say help him out, it helps us out as well. Right, next task is to try and unravel the chain at the other end, because when it actually snaps, the cog just keeps going and it just grabs the chain and ties itself into an almighty knot. So we'll have a look at that now and see if I can undo that. How's it looking, Nath, the wood? 14%, all right, excellent. This is really jammed in this time. Holy crap. Right, I'll bring you guys back in a short while, because I think this is going to take a bit. Alright, we got the tangle undone, and the way we did it was taking out a couple of little grub screws on this cog, which fits on the end of the shaft there, and then we was able to tap that shaft that way, and then this came free. So we got rid of the tangle. So what we will do now, I'll reassemble it. I thought that was really strange that there's only 2 grub screws. I managed to get those 2 out, which luckily were kind of here, easy to get to, and I was trying desperately to find a 3rd and a 4th, but there wasn't, so that was pretty lucky. Right, as I say, let's get this reassembled and get this thing put back together again. Right, a couple of grease sets as well there, which we will we'll use. Put a bit of grease in. There's a keyway on here and a key on there. And we will get those two aligned. Ooh, just a bit of a squeeze. Get it around the right way, that would help. A little bit of tappy tappy. Happy tappy. Right, you know that sound? That's home nice and tight. Get the grub screws in, get it reassembled. So that grub screw actually squeezes on the keyway, which is not what I was expecting. Again, I seem to be surprised with this this conveyor, the way it's sort of set up and running. As I mentioned, I do have ideas and plans to try and improve this. I keep saying it's going to be a summer project for us, but I don't know, the more and more issues I have, I keep thinking, should I just call this and bring it forward one weekend and just get it done? So we're losing an awful lot of time. It's an hour or so each time we have an issue, and I think I must have fixed this 6 times now. And I know with the sort of a permanent fix, it will be much, much better too. It's not just fixing it so it stops breaking. As I mentioned before, I think I have on previous videos, we'd put a paddle across there, we'd have 2 chains, one driving on this side, one on this side with a big paddle in between, like the commercial conveyors that you see. And that would not only stop faults occurring, but it would actually speed up the operation. Right, I'll throw a little bit of grease into these, and then we'll get this thing reassembled. So just do a little squirt of grease, give it a spin, spread it around a bit, a little bit more. Right, let's put it back together. Linking these chains is an absolute breeze with the old ones, absolute pain in the backside with the new ones, because the joints are so tight with the new ones. The old ones are almost slipped together by hand. Now what I want to do, obviously that one's where it's broken, so I'm going to actually take that out, and we're going to try and rejoin this with 1 link less. I'm going to turn the camera off first because it is a two-hand operation, and I'll have to bring you guys back once it's almost joined. Right, there we are, we got it up and running. So I did manage to remove 1 link, and now when I put a bit of tension on, so if I put tension on the chain and push it back like I did then, what used to happen is this area here used to get a sag in it. So when you had logs and you was taking a bit of load, the chain would actually sag, and I think that's where the problem lied. Now we managed to get this a little bit tighter, so put load on it, there's no sag. Right, it's up and running. All right, I'm going to now grab the chainsaw and we're going to start cutting some wood, and we're going to start splitting. We're going to get that trailer as full as we can. Right, time to give this saw a little workout. I'll talk to you in a minute about what happened with that one, but it cost me nearly $600 to repair. That's right, he knows who's the master chainsaw chopper in this family. Let's get a few chopped up and get that split going. Right, that's a 362 in action. Right, Nate, let's wind them up. Let's watch the log pile fall. Right, some nice wood in there, so let's get all that stuff picked and get it over to the splitter. Ah, some nice pieces there. Right, let's gather a few. Let's gather a few and get that chainsaw fired up again. Right, let's see. As Nathan's still got quite a few rounds there to work his way through, I'll go grab another load. And once he gets down to, I don't know, half a dozen pieces, I'll actually start booking at that point. Aim is always to keep the splitter flowing. It's just checking in with the moisture meter. We've been getting about 14% moisture, which is great. Happy with that. Right, that's all of the rounds that we've booked up. All put through the splitter, up the conveyor, and into the trailer. So there we have 3 cubes. That's delivery number 1 today. Next task, bring over the big trailer and get that loaded up. That one is going to get 5 cubes in and then 1 cube in the back of the ute. So we've got a 6 cube delivery over there, so 4 and 2. And a 2 and a 1 on this one. But it's not bad for a few hours. Certainly warmed up now, as you can see the sun's out. Fog's lifted, and yeah, we've warmed up a bit. Nathan's in a t-shirt, so it gives you an idea of how warm it's got. Right, we're going to have a quick break, maybe get a bite to eat, and then we will crack on and try and get that other trailer filled. We'll get as much done as we can with new wood. Way over there, we've got, I think we've got 7 cubes sort of already split, so if we don't get enough split by the time we need to head off, we'll be driving over there and doing a rapid load. Now, when I said we had mice in the food box, look at that. Hopefully you can see in there. So that was sat like that in the food box. Little mice got into the bottom and they've chomped away all the way through. That was my little biscuit snacks. And then next to that, they chomped their way through the evaporated milk. The milk that sort of doesn't ever go off. Usually have a few of those in there, in the food box as well, just in case yeah, I want to make myself a cup of coffee. But as you can see, these are all trashed now. Certainly won't be eating any of those, but there you go. Right, we're working our way through all of that wood. A few more loads to grab. Nathan and I on the chainsaws, stacking it up high on the pallet, and a load of wood on the ground. I was thinking there's going to be close to 6 cubes in all that wood, but I don't think there's going to be. You never know till it's split and in the trailer, but yeah, I think it's going to be quite a bit less. Which means we'll have to get back into the wood pile again. What Nathan and I were just talking about as we was having some lunch is actually moving the operation, the firewood processing operation, moving it from where it is now, bringing it in here, so have the splitter set up there, conveyor going out, and we just back the trailers in. So that'll be pretty neat because we literally will be able to sit the excavator here, grab the wood, spin around and drop it into position. Anyway, that'll be a job for tomorrow, and as you can hear in the background, Nathan's got the chainsaws fueled up again, so I'm going to get back into it. So whilst we've got this time lapse going, which sort of shows our operation in full swing, just thought I'd touch on and highlight a couple of things. One being, if you'll notice, the amount of times that I have to go and sort of free up the conveyor just to keep the logs moving. Now, you know, sometimes you get a run where it feeds itself and it works really well, but I do tend to spend a lot of time, or Nathan does, whichever of us is operating, sort of going backwards and forwards and clearing some of the jams just to keep that that log flow happening. So if we do a permanent fix on this, that'll be a huge time saver. The other one I wanted to mention was the MS362. I touched on it earlier on in the video, saying I'd had some issues with it. We were using it a few weeks ago, just in full cutting mode, and it just conked out, stopped working. When we looked into it, the spark plug had actually come loose. Tried to tighten it up, and the threads had actually gone in the cylinder. So we took it into a shop hoping they could drop a helicoil into it. Long story short, they put a helicoil in, they come to start it, they run it for a few minutes, and then the helicoil blew out. And as part of it blowing out, some of the threads ended up actually going back into the bore, and yeah, the piston ended up damaging the bore, and I had to get a complete cylinder replacement. That parts plus labour cost me a fair little packet. But anyway, it's back up and running now. Right, that's it. We are loaded up. That's the 4-cube trailer. So 3 cubes in, that's for my delivery. Nate's just pulling out now with 5 in the back and 1 in the ute. He's going to lock up and I'm going to head home. Right, that's us done. As you can see, I've got my trailer all loaded. We've got all the equipment locked away. And it is time now for us to head home. So that's it from the Rural Project. Tune in next time.